All right, welcome in everyone. This is our first flow and charts recap of 2026. We had 3 plays, 2 were flow plays included. We have one that actually was not a flow play. I'll touch on that as well too. But I do want to show everybody here. Let me just pop open the flow and charts. Again, if you're new to the Discord or anything, our track channels are the flow alerts, ETF flow alerts, and our flow and charts alerts. We had another video that we just did with the flow alerts and ETF flow alerts. We are onto the flow and charts alerts. I like to separate these videos because these flow and charts plays are a little deeper in analysis, so I kind of like to spend a little time on those. But we have 3 trades here. I'm going to kind of do them in order here. We'll kind of look at how I posted it. We'll look at the chart and just kind of go from there. And then if you got questions, then feel free to ask. But AVGO, so these are posted at night. So all the flow and charts plays are posted post market here. So they would technically be valid starting that next day. So what I noticed here is, and this was one of our flow alerts as well too, the AVGO, and it was one of the bigger ones on the day. We had a large whale on the 116.310 put for 10,000 contracts. Again, here's that contract at the time, how it looked. When we looked at that flow, again, you can see that IV, how it's rising when it comes in, looks good. Spot is filling with the ask, looks good there. Chart-wise here, so this is where you get that chart and that flow mix, which really helps a lot. So we were looking at the daily chart. We rejected that 20-day moving average, that red line. We bounced at the 100-day, heavy volume the last 2 sessions. We'll see it in the chart here. So you can see that 20-day there on the daily, your red line. We rejected that. We obviously broke it that day before, but rejected it. We were having a tough time getting over that. You had your 100-day moving average there, and you can see that rising volume there as well too on those sell days. So let's pop over to the chart. I'm going to try to do it on TradingView here. I have it on Webull. I'm going to try to do it on here. I just had my levels set up more on Webull for that. So let's do AVGO here. So I'm going to mark it like this. So, and one more thing here. I need to pop back here to Discord. So if there's any changes, I'll try to update them in the morning. Again, I'm just kind of giving a risk spot on where that risk would be. This one there were 2 possible ways to take this flow. We had a momentum entry, and then there was kind of a retest entry here. So I have both. We can recap here, and we'll go from there. But this one, the AVGOs, I had no changes in the morning on this one. So that momentum entry and that retest was valid here. So let's pop back over here. So I'm marking that on the daily here. Now let's pop this back here, and we're going to do the 10-minute chart. So starting on the 6th, it was valid. So coming up here, and your EMAs are going to change a little bit, so that's why I marked it there, that 350. I think I had that in here as well. EMA at 339.92. Sorry, I'm just doing this. So, okay, top of the demand zone, or a break of that 100-day. Okay. It's just trying to get my bearings there. So you can see that top of the zone here. So we came kind of close to that. We didn't really hit exactly that top of the zone, but kind of looking at the 6th here when it would have been valid, or actually the 5th. God, my days are all messed up. So valid starting the 6th. Okay. So here's your 6th here. So your morning session, obviously, this is, and I should probably mark that. This is why I probably should have marked the lines a little bit more, but I guess we get to see it in real time. So it was 339.92 for the momentum. 339.92 for the momentum. 339.92. So we're going to go right here. And this one would have been a little kind of tough to take that momentum because I'll just pop this back here. 1-minute chart will show it a little easier. But you look at the 6th here. Sorry, I'll get you over to the 6th. Here's your 6th. That momentum entry would have been kind of tough to take because that, and I actually did take a momentum entry on this one. I scalped it for about 10 quick 10%, but this fell so quick at open here where it hit that, and I mean from that 339.92 you would have came down to that 337. That's a quick $2 drop, but that's very hard to get in and out of quickly. But I scalped it for a quick 10-15%, but I marked it down as a loss just because it was so quick. I would have liked to kind of see a little continuation on that. So if you took the momentum entry and the risk was a close above that on the daily, it would have been the stop out. So that's why I have it marked as a loss. But you can see we came back up, and I mean, even if you would have took that there, IV kind of would have cooled off a little bit, but you could have maybe got out break even. I just have it set as a loss just because it was the daily. But again, our white line up here was kind of that top of the zone, that EMA that we were looking at as well. You can see we were coming up here, and again, this kind of just comes with time in the market too. You can see we gave that up all those gains pretty heavily too here on the 1 minute. You can see all that volume coming up. So coming after hours, we chopped, and again that next day, that moment, and I got to figure out how I want to post that because I'll probably post it in there. It's valid for like 1 or 2 sessions. But again, you break and they drop, and this one you would have got a little more chance there because it kind of came up a little smoother there. So I still have it marked as a loss because it closed again above that momentum. But again, coming all the way almost up to that EMA where we were up here. Again, these EMAs are not the same as a daily because you're on a shorter time frame. But again, good volume selling off here. And now if you would have swung those here, and I'll pop over the contract to show everybody here. Again, good pop there. And sometimes you got to be patient on these plays because now look, your Thursday play, massive drop. And again, if you would have took this momentum entry, you would have actually got good profits. That's what I would have really liked to see on the 6th there. We didn't get it, but again, kind of more of a swing trade. Those flowing charts trades are a little more swing trade-ish. So, I mean, you swing that for a couple days. Good drop there, good profits. So that momentum entry I have as a loss. I'm just marking it as a 0% on the spreadsheet just because everybody's contracts are kind of different on that one, but it's marked as a loss. But for that swing, so let me pop over to the swing here. So again, valid starting the 6th. So we got in on the 6th here. I went just with the higher entry here, 143 would have been a loss. Now, if you waited to that EMA exit, that would have been kind of near the low of the day, so about 105-ish you could have got in. You would have got that pop the next day, so 154 there. And again, if you would have waited that next day, I know there was a new person that joined and said they got them on the 7th, and I was like, oh crap, I need to make some better notes in the flowing charts on like when this is valid, barring a move, so on. But you would have got in here. I mean, 89, 79, I have it. I need to fix that because I have it marked as 105. I'll just leave it at 105 just to be fair. If you would have got in at 150, yeah, you're not going to get it at 154 there on that gap down. But I have it marked 105 for that. You would have got that big gap down that next day to that 193-ish. I think they hit 206 there for a high. So that max return there, and those chopped up there for most of the day, you would have got 96% on that. If you're patient and you wait and you trust your levels, that's when it starts to kind of look good there. So the AVGO one, again, the AVGO one, a little longer explanation too, just because you had 2 different entries. I'll probably try to lean away from the momentum entries. I know there's a lot of newer traders here in momentum entries. You have to be a lot quicker. So there's that. But so momentum entry loss, you wait for that kind of EMA almost retest there. Good return on something like that. So VST now, let me go over to this one. Let's go pop the chart up, and then I will show what we got on this one. VST. So again, another one's valid starting the 6th because this was posted what was, man, I'm ready for the weekend. This was posted Monday night. So valid starting 1.6. Large whale on the 220, 145 put. Again, see how clean that is here. Good size, good premium. Net call or net put premium spiking. No calls. All calls in bid side. This one also notice a lot of negative gamma on this one. So really good sign that you could be seeing a pullback here. Just lots of negative gamma, good sign there. And our chart here, so daily chart, we closed above that uptrend dating back to August 2024. You can see where we closed above that there. So again, this is why I make updates in the morning too, but we've rejected that spot 3 of the last 5 times. So the whale was a little more midterm on those, so I was looking for a rejection off that uptrend for a retest on that, but we actually ended up gapping up on VST. So VST with a gap up, I'd like to see this one come up to the 200 EMA at the 172.46 level. Now let's go mark our level here, so 172.46, and we're going to do this on the 1 minute again. Actually, I'll do it on here just so you can kind of see it. So 172.46. I'm going to try to get it right. I can do it like this. Let's see, 172.46. I don't want to mess around with it too much here. I'll just get it up a little bit more. 172.46. 72.46. I know I can go in there and type it, but I'm just kind of lazy. I like to be as... Okay, we'll go 172.59. So you can see that's where that 200 day is, that white line there. So now let's pop this back to the 1 minute. And this was an outstanding play if you swung this for a couple days. Again, valid starting the 6th. Then here's our 6. We actually tested that line twice there. From that first one, that was 72.55 down to 167. I mean, that's a $5 drop. That's a very significant move on a stock. That is a... Let's see if I've got my price here. I mean, from that to that, just that, I mean, that's a 3% move. That's a good gain on that. But now if you would have got a good rejection here, so if you would have waited, and again, you can kind of play, I'm going to put some better notes in here too. That's kind of my fault, but I mean, massive move down there, kind of recovered, gap down, continued to gap down. So we hit our low here yesterday on the 8th. So from that entry all the way down, if you would have held, and again, doesn't mean you're going to always hold to that max return. That's a 13% drop in the stock in 1, 2, 3 sessions. That's a massive move on the stock. You should be taking profits at this point. Should be doing something, because now look at today. I mean, you're ripped up, but you should be sizing out throughout here. I mean, that's a very significant move, and just kind of looking at that flow as well too. And I went with, let's see, 261. I think my average was, I'm going to give it away a little bit, 234 there. That was I'm going with the higher average. I mean, from that 261 to January 8th there to 716, that's 174.33%. And I didn't get that max return. I kind of sized out in here. I actually took some off same day stupidly, but that's a massive return. And I shouldn't have to be telling people to take profits when you're up that much. But again, very good return on those. Massive move. I mean, very clean setup on there. And our last one, so AMD, this was just brought, let me pop this back to the daily. So AMD at the time, I had somebody ask, let me pop this up. This was a question. So I had somebody asked about a net premium gap, and I saw it and I was like, okay, let's take a peek at it. So, and this isn't anything against Purple Stop Sign at all. Love the guy, he's great, but this is a good example. Not all net premiums are going to work out. So you had that massive spike in the net call premiums. It was actually a lot of deep in the money calls pushing that up. And I mean, there's still time, but that chart time, this is why I said it was a pure technical move. I didn't have any flow to go off of it, but pure technical trend line test. Look for a bounce. We closed below that on the daily. Let's look at my flow and charts play for that. So closed below the uptrend on the daily. We closed below that yesterday. I actually swung them in today. I went mid-February calls. I would have did a little longer. I should probably did March, but I don't want to overlap earnings. But so that would have been a loss on that one. That's me being stupid and just like, oh hey, that looks good. But that's our flow and charts recap there. It's all recorded, so if anybody wants to see it again there. But if anybody has any questions, feel free to drop them and I can answer them quick. But otherwise, I want to kind of get off and get this going here. I see Mig typing, so I will wait a second here. But I really think the like live recap helps a lot better, just so you can kind of see it in more time. But I'm gonna kind of not redo the flow and charts channel, but I kind of want to add in a little more notes. I just don't want to get too where it's like, financial advice, like, oh hey, stop out here, stop here, buy here. Like I need to avoid that because you have a lot of people trusting you, but you need to kind of have at least, manage your risk appropriately. But I'm going to end the video here.